A very good afternoon to you. It is the 18th of April 2021. I hope your Sunday afternoon is fine as mine. I'm Purity Museo and welcome to Lunchtime News. Feel free to tell us where you tuned in from and interacting with us. We are live on our social media platforms including Twitter and Facebook, YouTube at Purity_Museo and at KBC Channel 1 is the handles to tag while giving in your comments. Okay, let's begin this broadcast. And Eliud Kipchoge got back to winning ways as he won the NN Mission Marathon in 2 hours, 4 minutes and 30 seconds at the 20 airport in Holland. And the lone Kenyan in the ladies event, Gladys Chesir, finished 8th in 2 hours, 29 minutes and 17 seconds.
After finishing 8th at the 2020 London Marathon, Eliud Kipchoge this morning won the NN Mission Marathon that took place at the 20 airport in the Netherlands in a time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. His compatriot and training mate Jonathan Korir took second place in 2 hours, 6 minutes, 40 seconds, with Eritrea's Goitom Kifle third.
Raised aloft, Kipchoge's smile, the one that is so familiar. He's back to winning ways and he's back running fast. He's back on top.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
That's it. Well done.
He looks happy.
5 seconds. It's not much, but goodness me.
The Mission Marathon was planned as a stand-in event for the Hamburg Marathon that was to take place last week and offered athletes an opportunity to meet the qualifying times for the Tokyo Olympic Games. The women's race was won by German Katharina Steinrach in 2 hours, 25 minutes, 59 seconds. The lone Kenyan in the event, Gladys Chesir, finished 8th in 2 hours, 29 minutes, 17 seconds. For Channel 1 Lunchtime Sport, I am Daniel Wahome.
Congratulations to Team Kenya. Elsewhere, hundreds of motorists were last night stranded for hours on city roads after police erected blockades after 8 p.m. curfew. The motorists allegedly that the police blocked the roads and collected keys from drivers whose vehicles were at the edge of the barriers to avert any movement. And a section of Kenyans have expressed outrage at the move, which also inconvenienced essential service providers. A government spokesperson, Colonel Cyrus Oguna, has through his Twitter handle called on Kenyans to abide by the curfew and COVID-19 health protocol orders to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Curfew noma, wasa wamepatikana kibao, hakuna vile wanaweza fika mahali wanafika, roadblock imejaa pale, wasa wanapiga kelele. If you can just see along this way, all video ni wase, jam imeshika, noma sana, wasa wanapiga honi, wasa wanapiga honi pale, wanapiga nduru pale, hivyo makarao nao wamekataa, jo wase wana nyaunyo, mlikuwa wapi bana, mlikuwa wapi?
In India, the country has closed over 700 COVID-19 vaccination centers, with several states reporting shortage of coronavirus vaccines. The number of cases in India has passed Brazil's tally, making it the country with the second highest number of infections in the world. At least 92 countries depend on India for the supply of COVID-19 vaccines. The wave of coronavirus infections is wreaking havoc in India, with health officials reporting 161,736 cases in 24 hours, bringing the number of infections to above 13.6 million. The death toll has risen to over 171,000, and the country now accounts for 1 in every 6 daily new infections worldwide. And through it all, officials report that vaccine supplies have dried up, with at least 5 states reporting severe shortages and urging the federal government to act. The world's largest vaccine producer has only fully vaccinated 14.3 million people, just over 1% of its population of 1.3 billion, according to Johns Hopkins University. To mitigate the crisis, the government and the Serum Institute of India have shifted focus from supplying vaccines to COVAX to prioritize their own citizens at home, leaving over 92 countries, including Kenya, that are currently depending on COVAX facility desperate. On Thursday this week, Kenya's Ministry of Health allayed fears of a vaccine shortage, announcing that the country is expecting some 2.5 million doses next month.
The government, through the Ministry of Health, would like to take this opportunity to inform Kenyans that some 2.5 million doses provided through the COVAX facility are expected in the country in the month of May.
But amid the uncertainty, a section of leaders is urging the government to consider reviewing its inoculation target if the country is to win the war against COVID-19. Getting to South, Member of Parliament Moses Kuria says the economy will only open up if the government inoculates as many people as possible.
It is my appeal to the Minister, to the Cabinet Secretary for Health and the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury to set aside 18 billion shillings so that you can be able to vaccinate all Kenyans who are above the age of 18. And because once we do that, it's actually a saving. It's not an expenditure. Because once we do that, we can now comfortably reopen the economy fully without any restriction.
The Ministry of Health this week camped in Kiambu, sensitizing residents on the need to take the jab.
Today here we are the Ngao range, and we're the Ngao in their corporate social responsibility with their partners. They've organized for the vaccination of various security formations that do come here for training.
Have already got their jab because they are in the front line, just like most health workers have taken the jab, because if you don't take the jab as a front line, then how can you be able to tell other people to take the jab?
The country has so far vaccinated up to 651,650 people. And on a separate matter, drama ensued at a funeral in Machewa Ward, Saboti constituency in Trans Nzoia County after political leaders engaged in a bitter exchange of words. It all started when Saboti Member of County Assembly David Kapoloman accused Saboti Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi of poor leadership and mismanagement of funds. The two then had a heated exchange before Trans Nzoia woman representative Janet Nangabo intervened.
Mourners at a funeral in Machewa Ward, Saboti constituency in Trans Nzoia County were left in shock after two politicians turned the occasion into a war of words. Saboti Member of Parliament Caleb Amisi and Saboti Member of the County Assembly David Kapoloman turned the podium into a fighting platform as they threw barbs at each other over the region's development agenda. Kapoloman accused Amisi of poor leadership and mismanagement of funds. And Amisi retaliated by calling out Kapoloman for using a burial ceremony to settle political scores.
Ukisimama kama wewe ni kiongozi ambao umechaguliwa, wananchi wao kuchagua ndio ukuje utusi Caleb. Walikuchagua ufanye kazi yako. Wewe fanya yako na pia waachie hao wenyewe wapime Caleb. Sio wewe. Kwa sababu hukupewa kura ndio kuje kwa matanga kila mahali kutusi Caleb.
Trans Nzoia County Women Representative Janet Nangabo, who was among mourners who witnessed the drama, faulted the two, saying political temperatures should be toned down as the country heads to the general election next year.
Wananchi, they need good leadership from you, good example from you. Na nyinyi mkidemonstrate kwamba you people, you can just fight in front of people. Let me tell you, hawa wananchi sio wajinga. Hawa wananchi wanaona.
And to the education affairs, I beg your pardon, a section of Kenyans is calling for bolder legal steps in tackling exam malpractice in the country. The group says the government must demonstrate its willingness to deal decisively with exam cheats to deter anyone intending to compromise the conduct of national examinations. The group has chided the recent move by the government to hand in results to some students who had been accused of engaging in exam malpractice.
His Excellency the President has directed that every child shall be and must be given his results.
The move by the Ministry of Education to hand results to candidates who engaged in exam malpractice has been met with criticism from a section of Kenyans. The group says the government must stand firm against exam malpractice.
Mimi maoni yangu rais amefanya vizuri sana kwa sababu watoto hawana hatia. Hawana hatia yoyote na kurudia tena shule hiyo sio vizuri. Wacha wapatie result yao, wale walifanya makosa wachukulie hatua kali, sheria kali.
Kwa sababu ni walimu ndio waliiba. Sasa mimi upande yangu naona walimu ndio wachukuliwa hatua. Mtoto aende asome.
The government has said it is taking legal steps to ensure that no one gets a free pass in efforts to deter cheating in national examinations.
The President has pronounced himself that we shall release the results of all the candidates. We shall release the part of the results of all the candidates. But those staffers who allowed this to happen shall be severely punished. That is the variation to this speech.
Speaking to Channel 1, a section of Kenyans said the move to hand results to students accused of engaging in cheating is tantamount to rewarding exam malpractice.
Ukivunja sheria, serikali naomba hivi afuatilie hiyo sheria ambaye huyo amevunja. Sasa mpaka irekebishwe. Inaporekebishwa ule ambaye ako na kosa afungwe, afuatiliwe sheria, mashtaka wote wafuatilie yeye.
Huyo mtoto hakuna venye angeiba mtoto alikuwa peke yake, si ndio? Na pia ni vizuri kwa sababu maisha ya mtoto bado iko at stake. Maisha ya mtoto iko at stake. Akirudia anaweza hata lose concentration na anaweza pia kosa umuhimu wa masomo ambayo amefanya.
They want the government to demonstrate that it is dealing with those that are hell-bent of taking shortcuts.
Sababu mtoto angepata leakage bila msaidizi wa mwalimu. Hatua ingependa ichukuliwe kwa haraka, ndio huo mwalimu pia achukuliwe hatua kikamilifu kisheria. Kwa nini hiyo mtihani iliweza kuleak?
Some are of the opinion that if teachers work extra hard and exhaust the curriculum well in time, there won't be any need to cheat.
And you're watching Lunchtime News this Sunday afternoon. Baron Abule is our sign language interpreter. Thank you so much for staying with us. We now take our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more still to come. Stay with us.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye Quickly ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitazama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353. Alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka kwenye Quickly ni bila bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya Isaiah 48 kwa simu yako bonyeza *811 *817#.
Wakati mwingine unaweza kujipata umefinywa pande zote na unaona kama shida yako ni kubwa sana, kama hakuna nguvu ambazo zaweza kuitatua. Lakini ni vyema kujua kwamba kuna Mungu mwenye nguvu na ambaye hachoki kamwe. Isaia mlango wa 40 mstari wa 8 inasema, je, wewe hukujua? Hukusikia? Yeye Mungu wa milele, Bwana muumba miisho ya dunia, hazimii wala hachoki, akili zake hazichunguziki.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii bonyeza *811 *817#. *811 *817#.
And welcome back to KBC Lunchtime News. Nairobi County has launched the Disaster Management Feeding Program as one of the interventions to alleviate effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Acting Nairobi County Governor Kananu Mwenda says the third wave of infections, which caused a lockdown of 5 counties, has exposed vulnerable families to food insecurity and other challenges which must be addressed.
The county-wide disaster management feeding program was launched by acting Nairobi County Governor Kananu Mwenda at Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital. Kananu said they have set up an internal technical team within the disaster management department tasked with carrying out an elaborate mapping out of the most vulnerable within the 17 sub-counties.
Tunajiita county trackers kwa sababu tuna track msee wote Nairobi County na wasee pamoja. Wale wako na miaka 70 plus kwenda juu, hao ndio tunashughulikia.
Tumefurahi sana siku ya leo kwa kupokewa na gavana wetu. Ametuletea chakula ambayo itatujenga kuendelea na hata blanketi ya kujifunika. Tumefurahia sana.
We've started a COVID-19 feeding program that will go for the next 3 months, and we'll be doing it on a weekly basis. That is on Saturdays and Sundays. Our people will be on the ground. We are able to map those areas through the technical committee that is chaired by the Chief Officer for Disaster Management, and we also have the County Secretary as a member.
Over 127,500 vulnerable households in need of support have been identified, and about 25,500 households, most desperate, will receive food aid and other household items for the next 3 months from April to June 2021. The vulnerable population includes women, people living with disability, those living with HIV and other chronic diseases. Kananu thanked the government for releasing 1.3 billion shillings to clear pending bills and a further 2.8 billion shillings for county operations. She assured Nairobi residents that priority will be given to pending bills, as this will go a long way in alleviating their financial burdens. The acting governor at the same time urged Nairobians to continue adhering to set COVID-19 protocols of regularly washing hands, keeping social distance, and wearing of mask at all times. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jacinta Nyambura.
And in Kakamega County, a non-governmental organization at the county is encouraging farmers in the region to partner with the Kenya Forest Service KFS to increase land under tree cover during the current planting season. The Kenya National Farmers Federation KNAF officer in charge Kakamega County, Habakuk Kamala, has urged the national and county governments to ensure the country attains the 10% constitutional requirement forest cover. He said citizens should be challenged to plant a tree during this rainy season. Kamala spoke while handing over 400 tree seedlings to farmers at Ebuchinga area.
Wale ambao wanahusika na misitu wajaribu kuona ya kwamba miti ambayo tunapanda iweze kukua, ndio turudishe nchi yetu mahali ilikuwa.
Faida ya nyumbani ni kama kuni, kuleta kivuli na pia kutengeneza mazingira na kuzuia mmomonyoko wa udongo. Nataka kuwahimiza wakulima wetu Kakamega tupande miti. Tusiseme shamba ni kidogo, kwa sababu kuna sehemu ambazo unaweza kupanda miti. Unaweza weka katikati ya mahindi kwa laini moja na ama kwa mteremko kwa sababu ya kuzuia mmomonyoko wa udongo.
Nataka nisi wakulima wetu na wananchi wa Kenya ya kwamba misitu zetu zimeisha. Matumizi ya miti imekuwa mingi kuliko miti zenye tunapanda. Tafadhali, mahali popote muko wakati huu wa mvua nyingi, naomba ya kwamba kila mmoja ajaribu apande miti hata kama ni 5.
A family which received 5 babies at the KBC Teaching and Referral Hospital has received some relief assistance from the KBC County's First Lady Elizabeth Ongwae. Ongwae, who visited the mother at the KBC Teaching and Referral Hospital, donated baby accessories including clothing, diapers, bedding and soap.
The KBC County government has extended a helping hand to the family of Douglas Nyauko and Stella Nyachera after they welcomed 5 babies. The county executive has pledged to waive their medical bill and register the family with the National Hospital Fund for 2 years.
We'll walk the journey with them. I've already talked to the father of the children, who is here beside me, that we'll be able to do whatever is within our powers.
A grateful Douglas Nyauko says he is jobless and wishes to secure a stable job to cater to the family's financial needs.
Nimekuwa nikitoka shule 2018, kwa ndoa yangu nimekaa miaka 2, mwenye atanisaidia hata kazi sina, alafu ndio nione fenye nitaendeleza hii familia yangu.
The family has invited more well-wishers to come to their aid.
And to the COVID-19 survey report, a majority of Kenyans feel that the COVID-19 pandemic is more of a personal financial issue than a personal health issue. According to a survey conducted by InfoTrack Research, the poll indicates that 62% of Kenyans feel the pandemic has presented more financial problems, this opinion rising from 41% in June 2020. The survey also reveals that 65% feel the country is headed in the wrong direction, with key concerns being on the dwindling economic and rising cost of living.
After the, the government ending the tax relief measures in December 2020, 61% now mention that the cost of living has become extremely high. So it's not surprising when we see that one of the main reasons, in fact, the main reason why Kenyans feel the country is headed in the wrong direction, that is 65% who've mentioned the country is heading in the wrong direction, mention that, it is a cost of living that is making them feel that the country is not headed in the right direction. And those tax relief measures that have now not are now not existing were somewhat easing some of the pressure that the citizens were feeling.
In other news, Uthiru Genesis Day and Boarding School, located in Kino along the Waiyaki Way, is among the schools celebrating exemplary performance in the 2020 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations. The school started in 1991, had a total of 150 candidates, got a total mean score of 361.12 and a mean score of 72 points. Top performers at the school include Iliana Barasa, daughter of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation staffer Betty Barasa, who was murdered by thugs on the night of April 7, 2021 at her home in Ololua, Ngong, Kajiado County.
At Uthiru Genesis Day and Boarding School in Kino, a section of teachers, parents and pupils are celebrating outstanding performance in the 2020 Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations.
Uthiru Genesis, wow! Uthiru Genesis, wow!
150 candidates sat the examination, and Evelyn Kemuma emerged tops with 414 marks. The candidates attribute the performance to concerted efforts.
Focus on your studies, focus on everything, listen to your teachers, do not despise them at all, and you will go far.
Got support from my parents and teachers. I believed in myself.
The head teacher of the school, James Gishoya, says consistency over the years continues to pay off, with results in 2020 being better than in 2019.
The 2020 candidates, we had 15 candidates who were above 400, and between 370 and 400 we had 89 candidates.
Iliana, wherever you are, know that I'm very proud of you. I'm very happy with what you scored, and make the sky be the limit. Go higher. God is there with you.
Among candidates who scored between 350 and 399 marks is Iliana Baraza, the daughter of slain Kenya Broadcasting Corporation television news video editor Betty Baraza. Gishoya says Iliana joined the school in kindergarten and has been a very good pupil over the years until her exit in class 8.
Iliana is a very disciplined young girl. I would say she has the heart of the mother and the father in her. And she was also very, very courageous. I remember even before she sat for her KCPE, I had a talk with her, and I was encouraging her that she has the potential to make very high marks.
At the Baraza homestead in Ololwangong, Kajiado County, the mood is a bit jovial following Iliana's performance.
Akifuata nyayo za wazazi wake, ataenda mbali. Hata atapita ile level yenye wazazi wake walifika, ataweza kufanya mpaka hata PhD.
This family has so many friends. We'll always be there for her, for her emotional support, for her social support, all through her studies.
Iliana says she was caught off guard by the KCP result announcement, which came a day after her mother was buried.
The results were being announced as in the guest room. I was watching a show, then Dad came in. He told me to give him the indexed number. I tensed up and said I'll do it myself.
Her brothers Ian and Ivan encouraging her to keep up the momentum.
Ukienda high school, usilale. Continue working hard so that you can achieve your dreams.
I just wanted to say congratulations on passing your KCPE exams.
Their dad, Geoffrey Namachanja, described the week as full of mixed emotions, saying he will support his only daughter to achieve her dreams.
Her results brought happiness in the family, in the middle of nowhere. Least expected, at least there was some change. People smiled, people at least, of course not a celebration mood, but we could see on their faces, people are just happy for her.
A day after a dark cloud in the homestead of Geoffrey Baraza Namachanja, CS Magoha came out with good news. Iliana Baraza passed with flying colors in her KCPE examinations. Congratulations, Iliana.
Thank you.
To all the candidates who passed well in the KCPE examinations, we wish you all the best in your further studies. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Ololwangong, Kajiado County, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
Thank you so much, Ruth Wamboi, for that report. We are proud of you, Iliana. Time for the sport. Chelsea ended Manchester City's hopes of winning a historic quadruple as they aged a closely fought FA Cup semi-final 1-0 at Wembley Stadium. In the final, Chelsea will face either Leicester City or Southampton, who play in the second semi-final tonight, a match that will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
In Spain, Barcelona scored 4 goals in 12 minutes, including a brilliant strike from Lionel Messi to thrash Athletic Bilbao and win the Copa del Rey. Barca were frustrated until the 60th minute when Antoine Griezmann turned in Frankie de Jong's cross before de Jong headed in himself 3 minutes later. Messi then drove from his own half, exchanged twice with de Jong and found the bottom corner for Barca's third, and he added his second 4 minutes later, sweeping in Jordi Alba's cross. Victory gives Barca their first trophy under manager Ronald Koeman and their first silverware since 2019. For Athletic, it was a second Copa del Rey final defeat in 2 weeks after they lost to Real Sociedad in the delayed 2020 final on the 3rd of April.
That brings us to the end of Lunchtime News this Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much for your company. Leroy, you are tuned in this afternoon. And at Joe Thufu, you also say watching as usual. Andrew Tuikong watching, and Korir Lenny, you've also been watching from Kisii County. Junior Miguel, you were watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate. I'm Purity Museo. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter. Do stay safe, wash your hands, sanitize, put on the mask, and socially distance if you can. Once again, good afternoon, and thank you so much for your company. God bless.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and